Now for this interactive piece, I need one brave volunteer, and I promise there's something good in this for you. It's going to be very painless, okay? Please come up. Please give a round of applause for volunteers. And what is your name? Mamie. Mamie, very nice to meet you. But I want to ask you a question. How did some of you feel sitting in the audience as Mamie was kind of going wayward? Did you feel, anyone feel a little helpless? Yeah, like, oh, she's not going to make it in the 20 seconds? Okay. Now be honest. Please raise your hand if you were tempted to get up here and help her. Okay? And why didn't you? Why didn't you get up and help her?
Because I thought I was out of place.
Okay. Who else said they? Okay, and why didn't you get up and help her? Absolutely. The simple point is this, ladies and gentlemen. How many times in life do we make assumptions about what we can and cannot do that holds us back from the life we're intending to live? I love it, she said, with the enthusiasm of a 7-year-old having just been presented with a new puppy. But wait, Mrs. Jones, just wait. You haven't even seen your room yet. That has nothing to do with it, she said. Happiness is something you decide on ahead of time. Whether I like my room or not doesn't depend on how the furniture is arranged. It's how I arrange my mind. You see, son, when you change the way you look at things, even if you're legally blind, the things that you look at begin to change. A woman who had no sight, but actually lots of perspective, right? Please raise your hand if you've ever been on a flight with turbulence. Okay. Well, when you are on a flight with turbulence, isn't the pilot's attitude and tone of voice important? So I have to tell you, I travel quite a bit, and recently I was on a 12-hour flight back to the States. And I remember we had hit some pretty bumpy air, and the plane was shaking pretty badly. It was a United Airlines flight. And I'm holding onto my seat and gripping for dear life with my eyes half open, and everyone around me is praying and holding onto their seats. And all of a sudden, the pilot gets onto the intercom and calmly says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we've hit some pretty bumpy air over the Atlantic Ocean. In the next few minutes, we're going to pick up more speed to ride us safely through this bumpy air. So relax. Fasten your seatbelt, because a smoother ride awaits us in just a minute." How would you feel? A little better? A little calmer? But can you imagine if you were on my 12-hour flight with all that turbulence, if instead of hearing that calming, reassuring voice over the intercom, the pilot got on and said, "Oh God, watch your fingers, hold tight." That wouldn't be feeling so good, would it? It's all about putting things in perspective, and at the end of the day, what really helps us find balance is to make sure that we are painting our own worlds, right? It's in our hands. As I mentioned, you're all going to leave here today with red in your life, whatever that red may be. For some, it's really big, and for others, maybe not as consequential. But I encourage you and suggest to you that start to pay attention to the other colors in your room, whatever they may be, because they will help you find some balance, help you find some perspective, and allow you to be more in a space where you're learning, laughing, and loving more. Raise your hand if you want. You're committed to tossing some of your excuses out of your life. No more excuses. Okay. I want you leaping to healthier, happier lives. So I want us to sing on the count of 3. No more excuses. No more